Hello friends, welcome back. This is the third video in the series of GitHub for Security Engineers. So let's jump into the action. In this video, we are going to make few code changes in our GitHub repo. Once the code changes are done, we will commit these code changes and push these code changes to our remote GitHub repo. So let's jump into the action. In order to make any code changes, I will use Visual Studio Code. If you do not have Visual Studio Code, let me know and I'll make a separate video on installing Visual Studio Code. So let's open Visual Studio Code. I'll type Visual Studio Code and I'll open it. Visual Studio Code has been opened. Let's open our code within Visual Studio Code. We will go to File. We will go to Open Folder. We will go to this PC, D drive, GitHub YouTube series. This is our GitHub repo. I'll select it and I'll click on Select Folder button. Yes, I trust the authors, and you can see our GitHub repo has been opened in Visual Studio Code. Here on the left side in the code editor, we can see all the files. Let's go to source. Let's go to main files. Let's go to Java. Let's go to comment.java. And in this file, I'll change some exception message. For example, as you can see, let me zoom in. Let me zoom in a bit. In this file, we will make some code changes. As you can see, the exception message for bad request is unable to save comment. I'll change this exception message. I'll change it as unable to save user message in the database, and I will save this file. Now, since we have saved this file, there are two ways to commit this file to our remote GitHub repo. One is from Visual Studio Code source control. Here you can type a commit message and you can commit your file, then can push your changes to remote branch. The other way is from command line prompt. There is third option where you can use Git GUI to commit these code changes. So we will see all these three options. Let's use the command line option, where we will first type git status command to see the changes that have been made. So we modified comment.java file. If we want to stage these changes, we will have to do git space add space. Either we can provide the file name that we want to add to our commit, or we can put star, which will stage all the changes if we have multiple files. Hence, if you have multiple changes, you can use star to add all those changes to commit message. If you want a specific file, you can type a specific file name. For now, let's use star and hit enter. You can see our changes have been staged. To verify, you can type git status command again, and you can see your file is now highlighted in green, which says that your changes are ready to be committed. We will just have to add a commit message. Let me clear the screen. Now, if you think that you are not ready to commit and you again want to make few changes and then you want to stage these changes. So in that case, what you can do is you can use Git GUI to unstage these changes, or you can type a command to unstage your changes. In order to unstage changes, you need to type git space restore hyphen stage and provides asterisk to unstage all the changes, and validate it by typing git status command. Your file is now again marked in red because you have unstaged your changes. Now let's do the same thing using Visual Studio Code Git options. I'll open Visual Studio Code. Here, let's first stage the changes. These are your changes. As you can see, if you click on it, it will tell that you changed line 29, unable to save comment, to unable to save user message in the database. If you want to stage the changes, you will have to click on plus icon to add these changes ready to be committed. Let's click on plus icon and you can see your file has been updated with the new message, and there are staged messages that are shown. If you want to unstage, you will have to click on minus. If you feel that changes are not ready to be committed, so you can click on unstage and your changes will be reverted back. The third option is you go to your GitHub repo. The third option is you open Git GUI. Let's go to Git GUI. This is your Git GUI. Here we will open our existing repository, which is this. So let's open it. I'll provide the location to this Git repository and I'll click on open button, and you can see our changes have been shown here. If we click on the file name, it will show us the changes that we have made in the file. If we click on file icon, it will be added to the staged changes which are ready to be committed. If you click on the file icon again, it will be unstaged again. So these are the three ways how you can add your changes that are ready to be committed, or it is also called staging your changes. It means you are marking all the changes that you made in the code ready to be committed. If you feel any change is not ready, you can first stage it. If by mistake you have staged it, if you feel that a change that you have staged is not ready to be committed, you can unstage it using these three options. Let's now commit our changes using command line, as the other two options, which are Git GUI and Visual Studio Code, are self-explanatory. So I'll go to command line. Here I will again stage our changes by typing git space add space star, validate it by typing git status, and you can see our file is marked in green. Let's now provide a commit message to commit these changes. Committing means you are ready to push these changes to the main branch and you are providing a commit message to your changes. So we need to provide a commit message to these changes so that these can be pushed to remote GitHub branch. To do that, we will type git space commit -m to provide a message. Message needs to be provided in double quotes, which are added a detailed explanation to an exception, double quotes, and hit enter. And you can see one file has been committed and this is the commit message. Now only one step is left to push our changes to remote GitHub repo. So let me clear the screen and let me type git space push to push our changes to remote GitHub repo. Let's hit enter and you can see our changes have been pushed to remote GitHub repo. Let me show that in our GitHub repo. Here you can see our feature branch, which is code changes for Git repo, had recent pushes or changes, and we pushed our changes 3 seconds ago. We can compare this branch with our main branch by clicking on compare and creating a pull request. We will see pull request in the next lecture. In this lecture, we just wanted to understand how to add or stage our code changes, how to provide a commit message, and how to push our code changes to remote GitHub repo. If you click on compare and pull request and if you scroll down, you will see this is the old code and this is the new code that is being added to our main branch. This is the person who made the change, security guru, which is me, and this is the commit message. This is the commit ID. You can either use the split view to see the difference between two files, the older file and the new file, or you can use a unified view where in a single view it will show the old code and the new code. Now in the next lecture we will understand how to create a pull request in order to merge these changes to our main branch. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.